Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I thought I would sit down and record a video for you guys and gals today. Let me get a sip of my water first. That beautiful, sexy radio voice going. And let's talk about this. I had someone bring up a topic of continual tension in the comments. And, you know, this is a topic that comes up a lot because you see so many coaches, you see so many bodybuilders out here saying, continual tension is important for muscle growth, or they'll go so far as to say is one of the most important factors. And this is a ludicrous statement. There's a point where if someone tells you that, it may be a good idea to just say they probably have no idea what they're talking about. And it's not because it will hurt gain. So I want to be clear there. People will say, but they got jacked. They're big. How can you say that that's bad? Like, I'm not saying it's bad. It doesn't hurt gains at all. I'm just saying it is not even a factor. It has no relevance whatsoever. It is a personal preference. Okay? Choosing continual tension versus not choosing continual tension is on par with saying, do I want to paint my weight plates red, green, or blue? It's about that level of importance. It doesn't affect it. Now, people will say you can't say that. What do you mean? Okay. When you are working a muscle, right? Say the bicep. As we are training it, what happens? As it gets, we start out with, when we're doing a work set, let's say we take a work set to failure. As we do a work set, what happens? Well, if it's light enough, it's just the endurance fibers that are working, right? As we start to accumulate reps, the endurance fibers get more fatigued, and we get more muscle fibers that get recruited up the chain, all the way through the different intermediate fibers, all the way up to our fastest switch fibers. Now, until you get to about 5 reps from failure, your fastest switch fibers are not even going to recruit. Okay? Now, does anyone think that the continual tension matters? If you pause at the bottom, what happens? And then you come back up after a brief pause. Or you lock all the way out on an exercise. Let's say you're bench pressing, you lock all the way out. Does it matter? Does it stop recruiting the muscle fibers in the next rep? No, of course not. Because what are we looking for? We're looking for fatigue. We are trying to fatigue the weakest, most endurance-oriented muscle fibers so that we can get up to the ones that are really going to grow. Now, what happens when we reach muscle failure? It means that we've probably done about 4 or 5, maybe 6 high-quality reps with all of the fastest switch fibers. Once they become too fatigued to keep firing, that's it, your set's over. You're either going to grind through a rep, and then your spotter's going to take it, or you're going to get stapled. It's going to come down and hit you in the chest. That is what's going to happen. Why? Because all the intermediate fibers are too fatigued. They're too fatigued. They can't keep pushing that weight within a matter of reps. And then the fastest switch fibers have to handle it. Once they're fatigued, all those different fast switch fibers, which is going to be really which ones we're going to get is going to be an issue of our ranges of motion and joint angles. So if we're training through pretty full ranges of motion, you're getting all of the available muscle fibers you can get on that exercise. That's what's happening, right? You're getting all of them. Now, a different form might hit some other muscle fibers, like a different exercise, an incline bench versus a flat bench or whatever. Of course, there's going to be some slight differences. But we're talking about the muscle fibers you can get for that specific exercise. Just that one, no others. Okay? Because odds are we're not worried about training our biceps or our lats while we're bench pressing, or our calves. Hope not. We're probably benching for our chest, our front delts, and the lateral and medial head of our tricep. That's why we're bench pressing. So when we do that, we reach that fatigue, that's it. The goal is to reach that level of fatigue. And it doesn't really fully matter how we get there with the rep cadence or anything. What matters is that if we're trying to gain muscle, that we fatigue all the intermediate fibers and we get to the highest threshold muscle fibers and we create enough tension on them that they fatigue and then they can no longer fire. All right. Now, people who are like, but wouldn't it help us get there with the continual? Maybe, maybe not. Is your continual tension cutting range of motion? Then I'm going to say no, it's inferior. If your continual tension particularly is taking stretch out of the bottom, it is absolutely going to stimulate less growth. Why? Because that's really where we get the best muscle fibers. We really need to get there, okay? And if you're leaving part of the stretch out of the bottom to do it, you're definitely losing muscle fibers because you can't get to all the fibers otherwise, right? To get to every muscle fiber in a muscle that's available in an exercise, you do have to work that muscle through its full joint range of motion. So a lot of times continual tension, people are trimming a little bit out of the ends. It's not a good idea. But we come over to the other point. You're going to get the fatigue either way. Whether you pause at the bottom or lightly touch, whether you pause at the lockout to take another breath or it's a continual. What's happening? We're still fatiguing the muscle fibers. And as they get fatigued, we get to the other ones. All right, so here's the thing. You're going to get there anyway. If you pause at the top every single rep for a full second, have you lost anything? No, not at all. Because that's not enough time for those muscle fibers to recover. 1 second is absolutely not going to allow those muscle fibers to recruit. Even the endurance fibers usually need like 30 seconds. Right? They need like 30 seconds. Are you pausing for 30 seconds at the top of every rep? That's the only time when the continual tension would have an advantage over it. Because obviously, you could do a whole lot of reps if you're taking your 10 or 12 rep max and you're pausing for 30 seconds between every rep. Okay, right. That's going to create a different muscle fiber recruitment. But a brief pause just to reset and breathe, it's going to have no impact. You're still going to reach muscle failure. You're still going to create enough fatigue through everything that you get tension on a wider variety of muscle fibers. That is what causes muscle growth. And anyone who is telling you that that's not true, or these people are saying you have to, that continual tension, look, I'm just going to be honest, any bodybuilder or coach who is telling you that continual tension, based on after what I just told you, that it's even a factor other than personal choice and they enjoy it, is a complete moron who does not know basic human physiology. That's it. They are a complete idiot. And I'll just say that. I'll call them. Give me the names, whoever they are, I'll call them idiots. Because it's stupid. It's not based on reality. It's not based on how the human body works. Is there anything wrong with it? No. If you enjoy doing that, you feel like you get a good pump doing it and you get good workouts doing it psychologically, then it's a great tool. But there's no physical benefit to it. And it's absolutely not a requirement. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.